is what they call it. I got fired from that theater one time.
I've heard of that place. I've never been there.
I got fired one time from that place. It was cool. It was cool because last year, or the year before, when we were looking for an assistant manager, the guy that fired me came looking for that job. I would have given it to him. But we couldn't afford what he was asking for. And I don't think he remembered me, but oh well. It would have been funny.
Revenge
I
would
knew.
have been as sweet.
Like I saw his resume and it said, "Oh, like wait, you fired me, dude." Like, Brian Banks, like that was a movie people asked for. That was a movie I would have looked at if it was going wide enough based on the numbers to consider it. But like we talked about in that other video, I know pretty much when to not even bother looking, because we're not going to have it. I know for sure.
When you're going to fight a losing battle, it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not. So, but
and if it's a Marvel thing, sure, it'll continue into week 2.
The percent of the total gross of the Avengers Endgame domestically, I don't know about worldwide. It's not breaking that down here. Do you wanna guess?
Just for week 1?
Of its total domestic gross of $858 million, $858,373,000. How much of that was not just week 1, opening weekend.
Opening weekend.
So that's your Thursday night shows, which technically count on Friday.
Sure.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
I would say 70%.
Oh no, you're going a little high. It's 41.6.
Okay.
Though.
Okay.
Let me just talk about Good Luck Chuck for a minute. Do you remember Good Luck Chuck?
Wait,
I don't remember if it was Dane Cook or Dax Shepard, or it was one of those guys. But the basic gist was, if you go sleep with Chuck, you'll break off this relationship, and the next guy you meet will be your dream guy. You'll get married, and everything will be great. We had that movie. It did terrible. It also had Jessica Alba. I remember for sure that Jessica Alba was the girl. So many people, we had so many senior citizens coming to see this movie. It's got a really funny montage of like him just all these different women, all these different positions, all these different wild moves. And so many senior citizens walked straight out of that movie because they came here looking for the movie about the accident-prone girl. Like, its TV advertising was just, they completely threw away what the movie was actually about, and they focused on the fact that Jessica Alba is involved in a lot of physical comedy in this movie, like her skirt getting stuck in a car door and ripped off, and like falling down the steps and stuff. And these old ladies thought that this movie was about this really accident-prone girl that meets a nice young man and her life's going to turn around. And it was nothing like that. That reminds me of another story we can talk about real quick too. I am so mad at that movie. Not that movie, but the newspapers still did a lot of showtimes back then, and a couple of them were very, very bad about getting our showtimes correct. And that opened up, I want to say, like the week after The Dark Knight, or maybe 2 weeks. And maybe that was The Dark Knight Rises too, but whichever one of those very successful Batman movies it was, instead of having us listed, instead of putting those showtimes on the very successful Batman movie, they just added those showtimes to the X-Files, I Want to Believe.
Oh, no.
Did not even show us as showing the very successful Batman movie. And God only knows, like, honestly, what that did. Another example of that is things are a little bit better now. We found a company that finally, like, everybody sources their times from Fandango. We do not have the ability to program our times directly on Fandango, and we certainly didn't before you could buy our tickets on there. But a company came along that snagged the deal to represent anybody that Fandango didn't want to deal with directly, which
kind of a harsh way to talk about yourself.
That's what it felt like, because I frequently reached out to them, especially once I found out like Google sources their times from them. Everybody is sourcing their times from them. And we would send them out, and they would get them wrong all the time. Another very large example is Captain America: Civil War.
Okay.
They did not have us showing that movie at all. Um, I sent out my showtimes. It was correct, and that was another thing. Like, so you'd get your lineup on Monday. You do all your schedule stuff. You send it out. It takes days to turn it around. Like, you just email it to them. It's Wednesday, Thursday before they pop up online for you to verify whether or not they got them right or not. We get a showtime proof, but just because that showtime proof is right doesn't mean it's going to be right still when the time comes. And then, so it's Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday. They only work on business days. So you find out, you try and fix it.
Yeah, wait till Monday.
You lost the whole weekend.
Yeah.
You lost the whole
And
weekend.
how much revenue did you wind up losing?
On Captain America Civil War, it severely underperformed. It is probably our lowest grossing Marvel movie. That I have access to records for, definitely the lowest grossing Marvel movie. That's that James McAvoy Daniel Radcliffe. Did you see it?
I did.
Did you like it?
No.
Oh man, I loved it. I don't know. Maybe I'm the broken one because I know I'm in the minority there. But I loved that movie.
It was better than who did the one with Robert De Niro? Was it Kenneth Branagh?
Oh, the Frankenstein. Oh,
yeah,
geez,
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
I could see it being Kenneth Branagh, but I don't know for sure.
That came out after Bram Stoker's Dracula did so well. Like, let's try and copy that formula. Oh no, they did not.
You thought the Victor Frankenstein was better than that, huh? I haven't seen that movie, but it looks classy. It looks like it should be good, but no. Okay, I'll take your word for it. We got The Expendables 3. By then, everybody was done. They changed it from R to PG-13. Everybody was pissed. How do you feel about The Expendables 2?
I don't really remember the part. The second one. I remember the first one.
The second one is with Jean-Claude Van Damme. Like, they've got a young guy. I think it's the lesser Hemsworth. Liam Hemsworth, is that who it is? I think he's the young buck in the group, and Jean-Claude Van Damme kills him, or something like that, and they go after. I love it. If that movie came out in 1989. It would be the highest grossing movie of all time still. Anyway.
I mean, I'm not making fun of anybody who wants to see it. I want to see it. I love part 4. It was over the top. It was ridiculous. I'm really excited about part 5. But by no stretch of the imagination do I think it's a good movie. It's just going to be a stupid fun one.
Yeah, like a good time. If we had gotten Rambo right now, instead of doing this, I would totally be watching Rambo 4 again, like without a doubt.
Yeah, getting ready for it.
I got the Blu-ray sitting at home. I think I mentioned in the Angels Fallen video that I just stumbled across it in my basement. I didn't even know I had it, and I lost my mind. I was like, this is great. It's like finding the Grail. I love this movie. But anyway.
Recliner seats aren't worth it.
No, probably not. All I hear are horror stories about people falling asleep and snoring throughout the entire movie.